History doesn't just move forward, it crashes in waves. And every trough of the novelty wave, every collapse, is usually marked by a mass trauma event. A shock that wounds the collective psyche. And those traumas don't just vanish, they get sublimated into the unconscious, feeding nostalgia, ideology, and new ego forms. That's the engine of the cycle. But what if there was another way? Think of the JFK assassination. Think of 9/11. These weren't just tragedies, they were collective ruptures. They marked time, before and after. They traumatized the collective psyche. And instead of integrating that trauma, society buried it. Trauma sinks into the unconscious, and out of that comes clinging to tradition, nationalism, fear, and closed systems. And this is the same thing that happens inside of us, individually. Personal trauma descends into the unconscious, clusters together, and rises back up as ego and ideology, the false mask of identity. The novelty wave collapsing into tradition is just the macro-scale version of the ego form forming inside the psyche. The same trough, the same mechanics repeated across scales. But what if the cycle didn't have to collapse into trauma? What if instead of mass trauma events, we created mass Gnosis events? Events that don't bind us in fear, but free us in awe. Instead of ruptures that close us down, ruptures that open us up. A mass Gnosis event is something that shatters ego, dissolves separateness, and bridges will with heart. It's the opposite of trauma. It could be art, ritual, synchronicity, or anomaly. But the effect is the same. Time breaks open, and for a moment, the collective remembers its infinity. Just as Gnosis at the personal level dissolves the ego form and frees us from cycles of projection and repetition, mass Gnosis events would dissolve the collective ego form, breaking us out of closed systems and letting history flow again. And maybe this isn't just a possibility for the future. Maybe it's already happening. What we call déjà vu, liminal spaces, or even the Mandela Effect could be glimpses of temporal Gnosis, cracks in the illusion of linear time. Philip K. Dick described experiencing California and ancient Rome simultaneously, a personal Gnosis that revealed time as porous. These anomalies might already be collective mass Gnosis events in miniature, quietly disrupting our view of reality and reminding us that the world isn't as fixed as closed systems want us to believe. The troughs of history don't have to be prisons of trauma and nostalgia. They could be gateways. Mass trauma events bind us to the old ego forms, both personal and collective. But mass Gnosis events, those would dissolve the masks, break the cycle, and set history back into flow. Then, expression, newness, and novelty could increase exponentially, like Terence McKenna saw it to be. That's the real antidote.